YouTube family, my name is Elysia English and welcome back to my channel. This is a Trash to Treasure video. We lucked out after all the rain we've been having that we have a beautiful sunny day to go look for treasures today, and I'm doing it with some extra safety today with these beautiful new boots that Royer sent me to make sure that I was safe on my travels. I'm gonna need some help.
Are the doors there?
I think so, yeah. Look at the glass isn't even broken. Look at these.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Maybe I can salvage them. They're so pretty. I love the colors of them. Oh my gosh, look at. It's my lucky day. Horseshoe. There's even all the old sewing stuff in it. Look at old singer.
Oh, cool.
No one even emptied it out. What a lucky day. I found a horseshoe and some great finds. Let's go back to the shop and get to work. I lucked out huge at the dump today and I found quite a few objects. So I'm gonna use some of them in this video and then I'm gonna add some of them to my thrifted treasure video, which we're filming tomorrow. Today I found a mid-century modern looking sewing table. I found a really neat ornate single bed headboard. So I'm gonna use those tomorrow. And I also found an amazing bookshelf cabinet with glass sliding doors, a rectangular folding leg table. I'm not really sure what this would have been used for, but I have a really great idea for this table. 2 vintage paint by numbers, a little metal hardware hook, an old wood crate, a wicker basket, a collection of old books and encyclopedias. Having lots of requests on how I clean the items that I find at the dump. I use a bunch of different sprays and cleaners, but mostly I use a lot of bleach. It looks like whoever owned this cabinet was all kinds of confused on what they wanted to have this cabinet painted. I can tell it used to be teal, red, blue, gray, possibly white, and now started maybe to be green, sort of looks like the final coat. So I actually really like the green, so I've color matched as close as I could, and we're going to transform this into a green cabinet. I turned a sample jar of paint into my own homemade chalk paint. I'm going to use my favorite brushes, which I've now branded as my Elysia English brushes. You can purchase these on my Etsy shop. My plan is to paint the inside paneling and inside shelves white, and then carry the green as close as I could match to this green around the outside. I always use my base as a latex paint when making my homemade chalk paint. The reason I like making my own chalk paint is because I find that the recipe that I have self-levels really, really well, and I just really like the consistency of the paint. It also dries a lot quicker than if I don't turn it into chalk paint. When I'm painting furniture, I'm always using a 2-inch wide bristled brush. This is just the size that I like to work with. And what I do is I usually try to think of it in shapes. So this is just a long rectangle all the way down. So I try to work on this face by going in the direction of the tallest point of the shape. And then what I'm doing is I'm also being mindful of what's happening with my paint on the front side, even though I'm working on this part, because I don't want any clumping of paint on this side. And as I travel to this side, I also want to be mindful of what's happening over here, because I don't want paint to harden while I'm working on this side, leaving clumps. Those would have to be sanded off after. So you want to just be mindful of kind of all around where you're painting. You also don't need full coverage for your first coat. If you're getting full coverage, you're probably using too much paint the first time around. More thinner coats are actually better than one thick one. I use painter's tape when I'm refinishing furniture quite a bit, but sometimes I don't really want to tape off an area or can't really get the tape into an area. So sometimes I use cardstock and I'll just shove it in to where it needs to go, and then I can run my brush and not worry about getting it on the areas beside. I'm going to let the inside of my bookshelf dry. I have a few coats of white to do. Painting white can be really tedious, but it's so rewarding in the end. I decided what I'm gonna do is paint the top of this table white. I'm gonna leave the legs wood because I kind of like the original look. Then I'm going to put a pattern on the front and seal it with a clear coat so that kids can use this table. I'm going to give the top of the table really good sanding before I apply my first coat of primer, and then I'm going to use my white paint. I'm always looking for old frames when I'm out thrifting and at different types of markets, and I also often find them when I'm at the dump. So I have a couple of old frames that are actually a matching pair that I lucked out, and they actually fit the duck pictures that I found at the dump. I'm going to paint these frames white. I found this great wood crate at the dump, and I actually love the small size of it. I have a really cool idea for this with the books that I found at the dump. So I'm going to turn this into a little secret compartment that the kids can store things in the bookshelf. My idea is to put all the books in a grouping together, and I'm going to cut the books, just leaving the front part of the books, and then I'm going to attach them to the front of this case. That way when it slides into the bookshelf, it just looks like a stack of books with a hidden compartment behind. I figured out that the box that I'm going to be using for the back compartment is actually too long for the depth of where I'm going to hide it in the bookshelf. So I'm going to actually trim this box a little bit shorter and make it a shorter length distance so that it can fit in the bookshelf. To help be able to cut this with my so I'm going to add some tape right on the center line of where I'm going to cut my book. This will help hold it together while I cut. I don't want to use the cover on this one book that's going to be on the outside surrounding my box, so I'm going to leave it open and then apply my tape to this book. I cut the crate box shorter using the table saw, and it left me with some scrap pieces. I'm actually going to use one of these pieces later in the video. I'm also able to use all of the original hardware that came off this box to put my crate back together. Using my Silhouette Cameo, I'm going to print out a stencil that I can use to create a pattern for my tabletop. I'm really happy with how my trash turned into treasure today. I added a frame to those vintage paintings and painted the frames white. I restored that bookshelf with some green paint, and I painted the inside white. My favorite project today was converting these books into a secret hideaway to put in the bookshelf. I think I'll put my valuables that I found at the dump in there. I left this basket with the great handles just the way it was. I've been looking for the perfect table to use for the kids to have a little game or puzzle table, and this little pop-up table that I found at the dump today was the perfect addition to our main floor. So I've given it a boho painting pattern on the top. Tomorrow I'll put a clear coat on it once my paint has cured a little more, but this will be the perfect spot for the boys to hang out. I used a scrap piece off of the little crate that I cut using my table saw, and I painted the hook that I found black to make this cute little gaming card, so when the boys lose their track of whose turn it is when they leave a game, they can go back and find their initials. So this would be Dayton's turn next, or Chase's turn next. I will be adding a protective layer to both of these furniture pieces after about 48 hours. I like to let my paint sit for a couple of days before applying. Don't forget that I also found a couple additional items that I couldn't fit into one video. We'll be showcasing those this week. Thank you so much to all of our subscribers. We just surpassed 32,000 subscribers in our YouTube family. Let me know in the comment section which one of today's projects was your favorite. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Smash that like button if you want to see more Trash to Treasure videos. If you haven't heard, I'm giving away a Silhouette Cameo 3 on my channel. You need to visit my Trash to Treasure #1 video and leave a comment there of what your favorite project was during that video. I will leave a link in the description box below. I'm loving doing all of these Trash to Treasure videos and we have lots more coming. See you on the next project.